All right, welcome back. It is Typology Gifts. I'm Dan. Welcome to Part B. If you didn't watch Part A, please go back and watch Part A. You're going to need it to get the context of Part B. So we're here with Maily. Thanks for joining. Um, I was trying to think of what else I can ask. I already have a pretty good idea, I think, of what your type is, but of what I think your type is, anyways, what my theory is. But I'm trying to figure out if there's any other questions I can ask that. Actually, there are a few other ones I can think of now. How good are you with numbers?
Um, I was like pretty good in math when I'm pretty good at math.
Hmm.
Um, like it, it's just like you asked. Um,
Would you say that you're better than average at math?
um, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Can you do mental math? Can you do a lot of mental math?
I don't know what is that.
Like doing math in your head without having to write it down?
Um, no.
No? Okay. But what you do fine when you write it down when you're doing your work that way?
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. I'm actually also good at doing it with my head. It's actually
Okay.
fun.
Okay. What's fun about it?
I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to explain. It's just like wait, I was show my face. I feel smart when I'm doing it.
Okay. So is it satisfying to feel smart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, do you feel like people uh are making dumber decisions than you are like around you? Do you think that person's stupid, that person's stupid, like they're just not. Do you have that? I don't know what the look on your face means, but it could mean yes. I don't know.
I'm um no, I'm just like trying to understand if you see me in delay or not because I see myself in delay
Oh, okay.
and you don't. You
No,
don't,
I
right?
don't. No.
Okay, okay. Um well, yeah, I like to think that yeah, but I sometimes think that other people are stupid. Yeah, of course. Like I see like other people's like this, but it's not like decisions. It's not like decisions that they make. I don't judge people by their decisions because like I also do stupid decisions and stuff. Like I
Hmm.
will not say that that's like, but I do judge them if they say something stupid or something.
Right, right, right. Okay, I think I'm ready to tell you what type I think you are, and then maybe then we can talk about. I'll talk about. Have you looked into this cognitive function stuff? Do you know what that is all about?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So. So I'll tell you a few different things that you've told me. I'll say them back to you in light of cognitive functions. Um. And ask me to rephrase anything if you need me to. Because you said you're not native English speaker, right? Is
Okay.
English as second language, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
So don't worry about asking me. I'm not judging your English. Your English ability seems very good to me, but I can understand that there might be some nuance to what we're going to talk about next, because it is kind of abstract a little bit. Um, so uh, first of all, you turn inward a lot in your thought processes and um, how you talk and how you process information um, and so to me it's a it doesn't mean that you're one specific type, and it doesn't necessarily even mean that you're an introvert, but but as far as cognitive functions are concerned, it generally means that you are using a lot of either introverted thinking, introverted intuition, introverted sensing, or introverted feeling. One of those. Have I lost you so far? Are you okay so far?
No, no, I know them. I know them. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so so the question is, which of those introverted functions are you going to more often than the other ones? Because everybody does all of those things. But the question is, which of those muscles kind of are you flexing more often than other ones? Um, so let's just like think about, you know, introverted feeling um, is sort of consulting your own values and consulting your own um, preferences, things like that. And you don't seem to have strong preferences on on most things to me. Um, and and then the question, what deeply held beliefs do you have? People that use a lot of, like, let's say, introverted intuition or maybe introverted sensing, um, oftentimes will hold very strong beliefs about certain things. Um, so that leaves us with one other one, which is introverted thinking, which is that internal logical consultation with yourself, kind of where you're reasoning with yourself, and like you mentioned how you're doing math problems um, and thinking your way through everything, kind of. So you do a lot. To me, it seems that you do a lot of introverted thinking. Um, so that's my opinion, I guess. Um, and then I also, it seems that there's a few things that you mentioned there, like visualization. You're visualizing what you want to draw. You spend a lot of time thinking about the visuals of what you're going to do. Um, and also your skills in dance, I guess, even if you don't necessarily aren't always using your physical body, you have control over it. You're good at it, which is something that people who prefer extroverted sensing are good at doing. Um, so and and also the sliminess, kind of, that you mentioned, which I don't think is sliminess, but I guess that's just how they worded it. But to me, it's a sign of extroverted feeling, which means the the temperature of the room is affecting your emotional engagement with every situation that you're in. And to somebody who knows you and who looks at what you're doing, they might say, you're being this way here and you're being that way there. But to you, you're just adapting to the situation. You're saying, this situation is like this, so I'm going to be this way, and this situation is like that, so I'm going to be that way. And that's how extroverted feelers negotiate life, is they are aware of the feelings of the situation and they adapt their own feelings to fit the situation. Whereas introverted feelers are more stuck on their feelings, and when they go into situations, they're more um, consistent with what they're feeling, and the surrounding situation might not necessarily dictate what they're going to be feeling. So so all of those things together, I don't know if you can and if you can guess what type that you think what type I might think you
ISTP.
are. Possibly, but yeah. So what do you think of that idea?
Um. Um. mm,
Do you have a bias against that type? Do you not like that type for some reason, or have you read negative things, negative stereotypes about that type?
Well, I heard that they are like robotic and stuff.
Not necessarily. Um,
They act like
that's a
yeah.
that's a stereotype, I think.
But I don't have anything against it.
Oh, did I lose you?
So
Hello, hello. You back? I can see you.
no, I no.
Oh, you're just thinking about
Do
it?
you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think. I don't know because like they say that they like to build stuff and like they like to
That may or may not be true. It depends on the ISTP. I mean, every person is different.
like do all those stuff. I don't really relate to that. But no, if other things that you thought about.
Well, so what type did you come in thinking you were, and maybe we can see some similarities between what we both. Because I'm not in your head, right? And I've only known you for 45 minutes. So I don't know. I really don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, all I can do is ask questions and try to see if I can observe something about you, But what type or types did you resonate with you when you came in, or what you thought you were?
I always get INTP,
Okay.
and sometimes I get INF. Sometimes I get I also once got ISTP,
Oh, okay.
and I also got yeah, but and I also got uh and also I thought I am an INFJ, but
hmm
I don't think so.
I can tell you that
um,
if you were an INFJ and I asked you that question about what are some beliefs that you hold strongly, you would have had a ton of them. You would have been
oh,
right.
okay.
You would have been right there with lots of things to tell me, because you would have had all these conclusions that you've come to of about the nature of people and reality and things like that, that are your own ideas that you've had, that you've taught yourself these ideas, and these are like your beliefs, these are your ideals. That's something very that in people who lead with introverted intuition have very strong ideas about, the nature of reality.
Yeah.
So that's
So
interesting. That's very interesting. Go ahead, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, and I also thought I am an ENFP and also
Mhm.
an ENTP.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I got a lot of but I always get INTP, but I try to do other stuff because I felt like I don't know, I wanted to see if like it's really true or something. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Well,
will I want
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. What was it?
No, I was just I was sure I will never think I will like I didn't think I would be an ISTP, but
Well, well, I mean,
fine.
you have to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just my theory, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. People say bad stuff about ISTP,
well,
ISTP's people. Like they Yeah, but that's okay. Like,
I think
like
that there's
that's
the
fine.
stuff that you read that people say that doesn't necessarily, that's just a stereotype, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't necessarily, um, like people say that INFJs are these like worldly wise kind of wizard types or something, right? But I've known INFJs that were just honestly kind of miserable sacks of shit. You know what I mean? Like the stereotypes are cartoons. You know what I mean? Like we are real people, and we have real complexity to us. Um, and the idea that even that you could boil people down to one of 16 types is kind of silly, anyways. But it's kind of like handedness, and some people are right-handed, left-handed, ambidextrous. We just it's just a label that we invented to try to explain some kind of behavior, you know, or some kind of thought process is the way I would put it, like the way that you would prefer to solve something. So like, how would an ISTP solve a problem? Well, an ISTP would think about it a lot because they're using a lot of introverted thinking, right? So they would be consulting their own like logical process. And it would be a very dispassionate thing. It wouldn't be about emotions necessarily. It would be about what's reasonable. Um, do I have good reasons, that I think are good reasons? And then, but then ISTPs, not only are they using the introverted thinking, they're using a lot of extroverted sensing. So for them, it's about, can I visualize this? Can I see it? Um, or can I experience it? Um, and maybe can I envision what it will be, or what's missing from it? What do I not see here? Like, what's the missing piece? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a builder or a mechanic or something, like that little drawing that they do where they put the mechanic on there. Um, I have a friend who asked me to type him. I did a different video, and he thought he was an ENFP or an INFJ, and I went through this exact same process with him, and I concluded, I think you're probably an ISTP. And he thought about it, and he thought that was interesting, but he is, and he did play with Legos and stuff a lot, but that was kind of irrelevant. He's a designer. He's actually in user experience. He's like a visual architect. So it's just how he thinks. You know what I mean? It's like how he solves problems, because he's in the same field that I am. So we are both doing more or less kind of the same thing, in the user experience field. But I just know from talking to him now, I have a better understanding of how he solves problems, and it's a little bit different than how I do. But INFJs and ISTPs are very similar types too, by the way, and they're types that people don't necessarily always really understand either. Um, the other thing, is, to me, and sorry I'm talking a lot here because I want to hear more of your opinions. But the last thing I'll say, um, is, in the IP types, the introverted perceiving types. There's, to me, I see a difference between the INPs and the ISPs, and it comes down to, they both like to improvise. That's true, but the INPs, for them, improvisation is like a dance, kind of. But for the ISPs, I don't even know how I would contrast that to say how it's different. But like, um, there's more of a, I have to have a, uh, I have to have an insight. I have to have something kind of hit me for me to then improvise. So, so INPs tend to talk a lot when they're, talking through their problems. They can talk and talk and talk and talk, all the way around their problems, where the ISPs seem to talk and then they have to consult themselves, and then they talk, and then there's like, it's a lot more. That's the introverted intuition, and that's how INFJs are too, and INTJs and whatnot, because they have to have the idea. It's a bit more halting. It's like talk, halt, talk, halt. Whereas INPs are like, it's like music, like that. Does that um, do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying with the difference there? So I
Yeah.
think I think you do more of the halting, which is what I do. But I'm just saying, I see that you do the halting, where you talk, halt, talk, halt,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is an introverted intuition thing, I think, because it's like you have to have that idea. It has to come to you.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't think that you were an INTP or an INFP, although those were in those were not the first ones I disqualified. So when you watch the video, the last ones I disqualified were INFP, ISFP, ESFP, and ISTP. And the only other one I didn't cross off completely was ISFP, but you pretty strongly convinced me that you were more likely to be an ISTP, and just by there's a lot of similarities between ISTPs and ISFPs, but there's some really big differences too. Anyways, I want to let you talk. I know I've been talking a lot, so I'm curious to know what you think. I'm sure you've been thinking while I've been talking, so uh, what do you think?
I think that it's like weird that I'm like an ISTP. Like I'm like thinking about like MBTI a lot like recently. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm pretty obsessed with MBTI.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I I remember that one also typed me as an ISFJ, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like kind of weird that it was it didn't make sense because she said that she sees that I have a SI and not
Mm-hmm.
SE, and
Mm-hmm.
that I have and like the opposite like N and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And what did you think of that? You didn't think that she was right?
no, I know I'm not. It didn't make sense that I am an ISFJ.
Mm-hmm. My best
Yeah,
friend is an ISFJ, and I would agree with you on that.
yeah,
ISFJs,
and
yeah.
also like sometimes like I also like didn't I couldn't really relate to INTPs because it seems like they're like really, I don't know, like it seems like they're like just too smart, I guess.
Well, they're smart in a different way, I
And
guess.
yeah, and I thought for a long time and I am an INFJ,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel it's like when I put more like a lot of effort to myself, like but I can really understand why you would think I am an ISTP because it makes sense.
And I could see why you would think you were an
I
INFJ
feel
if,
when I
if you were an
pay less
ISTP.
attention.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So I'm pretty like I'm not like it's not like something that I feel good about that I'm an ISFJ. ISTP.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sad to know that.
Oh, well, well,
Like
but
it's not that I no, it's not that I hate I it's not that it's not that I hate ISTPs and stuff. They're
right.
like fine and all that. Like I don't hate myself.
Is it because of you think that that there's some inferiority there?
I think maybe because I didn't want to be a censor.
That sucks. That's bad. I mean, like everybody uses sensing and everybody uses intuition. So it's unfortunate that there's a negative stereotype against sensors. I think that's just
Yeah,
I think that's
and
just
also,
people
and also
being
it was
exclusive.
okay. Yeah. Also, it was like fun for me to like think I am like not like to, because like I don't know. But it's really interesting.
It doesn't. I mean, being able to be preferring to think more abstractly isn't a superior form of intelligence, though. It's just a different dimension of it, I guess. There are there are kinds of problems you wouldn't want to ask an intuitive to try to solve. You would want to ask a sensor because they're going to be more in tune with their senses.
Like what?
Things involving physical space. If I was going to take my car to a mechanic, I wouldn't want an intuitive mechanic. I would want a sensing mechanic. Because I know that the sensing mechanic would be able to visualize the parts in a three-dimensional sense in a very concrete way, whereas an intuitive mechanic might try to come up with some all kind of strange rationalization for why there's a noise going on or something. Um, there's a misconception that
Yeah.
just because you are an intuitive type, that means you're intelligent, or I mean everybody's intelligent, but but like the idea that, let's say, an INTP and an ISTP take exams at the end of school. There's no guarantee that the INTP is going to score better than the ISTP, because the ISTP might have been listening to the information and learning
Yeah, yeah.
the information in a way that caused it to stick because they could see it in a more concrete way. Whereas the intuitive might have been thinking about everything else. And so it's not so easy to just to pin it down and say that that because somebody is intuitive that they have that they're I mean, there's so many. You know about all the dimensions of intelligence, right? Like there's like 7 of them or something to that degree. Like emotional intelligence. There's all these different kinds of intelligence. Let me look it up. This is where the misconception is people are they're thinking of it like intelligence quotient IQ, which is like not really the right way to think about it. So there's intrapersonal, spatial, naturalist, musical, logical, mathematical, existential, interpersonal, bodily, kinesthetic, and linguistic. So an ISTP is probably going to be good at spatial, maybe naturalist, possibly music, probably logical, mathematical, maybe not existential as much, maybe to a degree interpersonal, definitely bodily kinesthetic, and maybe linguistic. So you know what I mean? So if you take any type and you think about it that way, you can see that like some types are going. Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, I don't know what is that.
Yeah. So like for example,
Hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I just can't see you. It's black right now.
Yeah.
Oh, did you turn off your camera?
No, no, I don't know why it's that.
Okay.
It's weird.
That's okay. No worries. So I don't know if I'm rambling or if this is helping to.
Because I think I'm depressed. Like I'm not depressed, but I think I'm sad that I'm an ISTP because I wanted, yeah, because like I think it's more cool to be an intuitive, but you know
Oh, okay. So it's about being cool.
what can
It's
I
about what
do?
type is cool, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
exactly.
like that's like saying it's cool to be right-handed, you know? Like, well, maybe, maybe not. I guess that's
No,
complete.
no, I don't mean like cool, like it's cool. I mean like cool. It's like I have reasons for that, good reasons.
Well, do you know any ISTPs?
It's because I think they're like they because they're smarter and stuff. You know,
Hmm, yeah, but that's different though. That's
something
not.
like that.
That's like, look, I might be right-handed and I might be a poet or an artist or a bodybuilder. Whatever I use my right hand for is that's my decision. So you might be an ISTP or an
I,
INTP, and you might use
and
your
also because I also write poems.
because what?
I also write poems.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think all types, maybe not all types, would write poems, right? I don't think there are probably some types that would prefer not to write poems, but uh, but maybe an INFP poem would be different than an ESTP poem. You know, it just has to do with more about the thought process that you're going through to negotiate things. Um, the other thing that you said that at the beginning of the call when I asked if you were
Are
like,
you sure? Are you sure 100% that I am an ISTP?
it's just my opinion. That's all. It's just one guy on the internet's opinion. That's all it is. So
Okay.
what it is it it
Sorry,
means
I don't.
I yeah, no worries, I can hear it. It means that you can go and now do some research on this type and think about it. You know what I mean? Like maybe you will look at it and go, I'm not an ISTP. I'm this other type. Um,
Do you think I'm an INTP or there's no chance I'm an INTP?
well, it's just my opinion, okay? I mean, it's not about. I can't be conclusive. If
Okay.
you only know what's going on in your head, and even maybe not that. Maybe you don't even know. Like it's hard to know what's going on in your own head. Um, that's
Okay.
why that's why you try to look at cause and effect of.
And also, it's like okay, never mind.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
It's like how do you say? It's like all spectrum. So it's like if
Mhm.
I like maybe I have like I don't know, like my intuition is like strong.
Maybe. Also, it's also related to age and your stage of life and your upbringing and all kinds of other things. So, um, ISTPs, their intuition will keep getting better over their lifetime because they will
but
continue to develop it.
but it's so weird. Like when I was a child, when I was like a kid,
Hmm.
I used to like really like I used to be like really like I used to have like a really wild imagination, and I
Hmm.
always like imagine stuff like that. So I don't know if it's like I was really like I was like known for my imagination, stuff like that.
Hmm. Well, like that's why I can't be. That's why I'm not going to be conclusive in an hour and a half
Okay.
or hour or whatever it's been. I'm not going to try to. I don't want you to feel this existential dread of like, oh, I might be something that I don't like or something like that. That's not true. I mean, you are who you are. No matter what anybody says about you, you are who you are. So it's more just about trying to understand who am I? What kind of person am I? And once you can figure that out, it's just your own personal thing. Nobody else has to know what's in your head. So then once you think that you understand maybe what kind of person you are, that can help you when you try to grow, when you try to get better at your life. You might be able to say, well, I think that I'm this type of person, and that means that I know I'm going to do really well in these kinds of situations, and I need to practice or get better and to be in these other kinds of situations. Um, I'd say that's as far as I would take it, just like personal development, you know.
Okay, yeah.
If you take it any further than that, it starts to you're too individual of a person to fit into a box, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why this isn't really science. It's not true. It's not truly scientific in the way that other like real psychology is. It's like armchair science, you know.
Mhm.
It's like using a tape measure versus a scientific instrument that's like fine-tuned for precision. A tape measure is just I need to measure something real quick just to get a rough idea. But I'm sad that there's a stigma against sensors. My best friend is a sensor. He's an ISFJ, and we get along so well. And I can see how he's just really good at certain kinds of ways of thinking better than I am. But I'm better at other kinds of thinking than he is, you know? So we have really interesting discussions because of that, because he sees things differently than I do.
Yeah.
And that's, I
I
mean,
like
yeah.
once I thought I'm an ESFP. ESFJ. I don't know. It was 2 days.
I mean, I've asked myself if I was other types too. I initially took a test and got ENFJ, but it was during a more kind of extroverted period of my life, you know. So that's what I scored on a test. But then I
Yeah.
but then I read it. Then a few years later, I read a description of INFJ, and I felt like somebody like crawled in my window and was like watching me, you know, like while I was just going about my life. It was really creepy. Um, that I could read a description of a personality type and that it would feel so personal, you know. Um, so and there's been tests that I've taken and I've gotten INTJ, and I've wondered if I'm an INTJ even. But I think, but I every time I think about it, I go down that path and I think about it, and I'm like, no, I'm probably an INFJ, you know, because
Yeah.
I know INTJs, and I know our points of difference that we have. I know our disagreements that we have.
You know what is funny that that some like it's so easy to under like to like INFJs like they have like their own style like of like the way
Mhm.
of like dressing.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Oh, do I have a similar style to other
Yeah.
I'm just wearing a collared shirt. But no, I get what you're saying. It's probably more geared for comfort, right?
Like
Com-
what? Like what do you mean?
dressing for comfort.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you, by the way, your video is still off. Did you turn it off, or do you want?
No, I don't know why is that. It's like that. Wait, it's so weird. I have no idea.
That's okay. I can still hear you. So,
Okay.
uh, at the beginning of the call, I told you, or before the call, I told you that at the end of the call we would talk about whatever you want to talk about, or you could ask whatever questions you want to ask or whatever. So now is the time.
Okay. Okay. So the question I have is like, if I wasn't an ISTP, what would you say I am?
Well,
Like, you have other option or like just this option?
I thought that you might be an ISFP,
Oh.
but there were things that rocked me off of that. Um, and the things that led me in that direction perhaps were uh, things that would be true of ISTPs too. Um, so, but in either case, introverted intuition, using introverted intuition, um, consulting internally first before, you know, uh, speaking or reacting or whatever. Preference to improvise, preference to sort of take things as they come. That's the way I would put it. And a kind of an ability to visualize, ability to envision or conceptualize visually, oftentimes artistically. Those are things that are the same. I think ISFPs are much more driven by their tastes. They know what they like. They know what they don't like. They have a lot of those kinds of like opinions that drive them. Not so much reasons, the same way that an ISTP would have, where an ISTP is like logic driven, more logically driven than an ISFP is. And it's not that an ISFP couldn't have an aptitude for math, but like I would expect a type that is more logic driven to have more aptitude towards math. So I would expect if somebody tells me that they have an aptitude for math, that to me, based on my just talking to people and trying to get to know enough people, it seems more likely that they are using introverted thinking. Because for whatever reason, I've just seen that stronger introverted thinkers seem to excel at the kind of ruthless logic that you have to be good at math, where you have to know a lot of like kind of logical rules, and then you have to be able to construct these like logical arguments. So like for example, my brother is an ISTP. One of my brothers is an ISTP, and he's an accountant. So he has a sort of natural ability with numbers, and I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but it does just because you're good with numbers doesn't necessarily mean you're introverted thinking preferring, but that's one of a few different reasons why I thought maybe ISTP over ISFP. The other one being how you mentioned this sort of way of being in one group versus another group. I think that's just an accusation that people make against people who prefer extroverted feeling. And ISTPs prefer extroverted feeling, and ISFPs prefer introverted feeling. So if you think about like, well, which of those two is that kind of criticism more likely to describe, it would be the extroverted feeler.
Yeah.
So that was my thought process when I was trying to decide if I thought you were a certain one type or the other. That was what I was thinking about.
Mm.
You can rewatch the video too. I mean, don't feel like, I'm sure you're going to be thinking about all this, and you'll want to watch my work on the board here and to see which types I ruled out.
Yeah, I watched like a video that you did on like ENT, like she was a girl and she was an ENTP.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that video.
Maybe there's been a few. I've typed a few other people that I thought were ISTPs, so you should watch those videos too and see if you sense any similarities.
Yeah, I watched a lot of videos about ISTP and I
Hmm.
actually found I was like I related to them. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're familiar with the quadras idea.
But also I feel like I am I'm just I'm just really not sure of like the feeling and thinking or something. Like yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
I wouldn't get too hung up on the four-letter dichotomies, like thinking versus feeling.
Ah, this okay,
That's kind of not very good way to get to the bottom of it.
okay.
It's like a shorthand.
But actually, I can. Yeah, it's like I see why it's like fine to be an ISTP. So
It's more than fine. There are certain kinds of jobs you would want to call an ISTP for.
yeah, but I don't want to do these jobs.
Well, you don't have to do those jobs. You're your own person. You have your own equipment. You can decide what to do with it. It's just it's more about knowing yourself. It's just trying to understand your own tendencies. Like
Yeah,
like once I started understanding more of what my type was, that really helped me because then I could like lean into it kind of. I could really go harder in areas that related to introverted intuition for me because I realized that it's effortless for me. So that's just my personality. And so now I can that changes decisions I make or blind spots too. I might say, well, maybe I need to consult my more practical friends about decisions I'm going to make because I'm not a very practical person a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you might end up being a more practical person, but maybe you want to consult with other people that you think are a little less practical to get those wacky kind of out there ideas that are just too impractical but might be interesting to to give you some insight. um, I think also your type is probably very good for being an artist because a strong extroverted sensing preference means that uh, you will have the a kind of natural ability to of aesthetics. You have very you will know what's aesthetically pleasing, um, and being a logical being a more logical person means you might be able to take on kinds of art uh, that require more logic, like architecture or interior design, things like that require more mathematical precision.
yeah. Cool.
But that's just a theory.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I guess you can ask anything if you want.
Um. mm, no.
A lot to think about, right?
Yeah.
But I hope you'll write a comment on the video. You know, later on. In a week or two, something like that. Like after you've had time to think about it.
What should I comment? Like
I don't
okay.
know, or we can do a part C. Part C video. I've thought about doing that with people that
Really?
yeah, just because like a follow up, just like, well, so it's been a month or 2 months or whatever. Like, what did you think? Where has your research led you now? Did you was that a turning point where you came up with a new theory, or did it help you get into like maybe you'll think about it and you'll be like, maybe I was wrong about you being an ISTP, but maybe it helped you go in the right direction and figure out what type you really are. Um, So I'm just interested in that. I'm interested in. I guess I really haven't done a lot of that to see like what were the results of these videos.
Okay. Yeah. I will. I will like comment something.
Okay. I hope it's been a positive experience. I want it to have been a positive experience.
Yeah, it was.
I want you to feel better about it than uh, than upset, because it's it's not my intention to make anybody
Yeah, yeah.
feel less
No.
less about who they are because of it. I want them to know themselves better, you know.
Yeah, of course. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. It's just like I was thinking. I don't know. It's just like it changed like a lot because I thought I am something else. But yeah,
Well,
but it's
you might be. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Maybe.
I'm not gonna rule it out. You might be an INTP. So just keep comparing those two. Watch a lot of videos of
But
I.
I also there is a test. There is a test that it's like they say like oh, okay, yeah. So it's like there's a test like on the internet, and
Mhm.
it's like they they like do a comparison between no, no, oh my god, okay. So they compare the INTP to the ISTP. It's like a
Mhm.
test. You do this or this, and I got
Mhm.
INTP. But
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
it's just it sounds better to me because like they ask like questions of um do you prefer like doing like exploring space or something like that, and then they said, and the next one was like, do you prefer to have your own like try your own hobby, and then I said I want to explore space because like so it wasn't exploring space, but something like else, but
Mhm.
because it sounds more interesting,
Right. Right. Right.
but the thing is like I never like I don't really do this stuff, so it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I need to look on like the stuff that I already did. Like
Mhm.
if I
Mhm.
didn't do it, then like it just sounds
Right.
cool. So
Right, right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, the wording, the questions in the test may have been worded to make you feel like you would be inferior to pick one option or the other. And the other thing I think about too about tests in general, just no matter how good the test is, I could ask you, how hard can you kick a tree, or I could watch you kick a tree, and I could like take a take a video of you kicking the tree and like slow it down. You know what I mean? Like observing you is very different than asking you to report on your own behavior, because you don't really, you're on the inside, so it's hard to.
yeah,
I could be like, yeah, I kick trees really hard, and then I go kick the tree and I can't kick it hardly at all, you know. Um, because in my mind, I built myself up. I thought I was a tree kicker. I thought I was really good at kicking trees, you know. Um, but then somebody watched me, and then they were like, "No, you're not very good at kicking trees." And then I'm like, "Oh, well, it sounded good in my head." So that's the other that's all I'm saying, is just if somebody can watch you or listen to you and think about what you're saying and how you word things and stuff, that can sometimes work out better than a test, because you can you can rationalize different answers in a test. If it's A or B, I can give reasons for myself to pick A. I can give myself reasons to pick B. Just
yeah,
depends on
yeah,
my mood and what kind of ideas I have about why I might pick A or B, you know.
yeah.
And I wasn't sure what type you were at the beginning, because you said a lot of different things that were conflicting, you know. But there was one other thing that I remember, was one other thought that I had too, is that my brother, who's an ISTP, I found him to be very mysterious to me. I did not understand
Yeah,
him.
everyone say that like ISTPs are mysterious.
Yes, and now I know what I'm looking for when I meet ISTPs, or when I find people that I think are ISTPs. I I now think I understand why they are seen as mysterious.
Because yeah, it's like like it's like I'm talking to you, but it's like I have it's like it's like I'm talking with my, oh my god, I forgot. Fuck. Um, it's like I don't know how to explain. It's like I'm lying to you in a way,
Right,
like
right,
lying
right,
to
right.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yep. But I think that's
It's like how I how do you say, like interact with, like, I don't know. Yeah.
I get it. I understand it because I'm an INFJ. You I don't know how to even describe it. Um, I can't describe it either very well, honestly. Uh, you think about things the way that they're going to be perceived,
Yeah, yeah.
and that means you might change the way you're saying something, and that means you might contradict yourself. And you might not like that you contradict yourself, but you still do because you're crafting how you word things to everybody because
Yeah.
you know how they're going to take it. That's an NIFE thing too, and that's something that ISTPs can do very well. Um, so I think I know. I think I get it. I think I get what you're saying. That's why I try to read between the lines a little bit with people and not just take everything they're saying at face value. I want to listen to what I think they mean. Um, that's why I say I think I understand what you mean by that you are lying to me. And
Yeah.
in that sense I feel like I can find the truth. Because look at the premise of the call too. That's the other thing. Anyways, I'm
Wait, no, no,
assuming
I.
the
What
gears are
What do you mean,
turning.
like Maylis? What?
The pr-
Maily?
the
What?
premise,
Yeah. What is that?
the reason for the call. The reason for the
Um,
call is going to affect what you say.
like the reason why I decided to talk to you.
The reason we are talking right now is what I mean.
Oh,
We're not talking because we want to talk about pizza recipes. So, because the context is a certain thing about personality, you are very conscious of your personality,
yeah,
which means you are making decisions about what you're saying that you feel like might not be true to your personality. Therefore, you're worried that I will come to a different conclusion about your personality than who you really are.
yeah,
But there's all kinds of things that I'm listening to that don't even relate to what you are consciously trying to do, Like the cadence of your speech and what you decide to talk about and what you don't decide to talk about. And how general you talk. That's another one too. Do you talk in specifics or do you talk in generalizations? Introverted intuitives talk in generalizations. Extroverted intuitives talk in specifics. But anyways, I'm going down the rabbit hole and I'm sorry if I'm losing you.
no. I'm just um. I don't know. I thought about something like what, I don't know.
You still thinking about it?
No,
No?
no.
Okay. Well, do you want to call it?
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to know how later on, so let me know what the results of this was. And also, I'll probably post the video maybe like next week.
Okay.
Are you okay?
So
I can't see
yeah,
your
yeah,
face, so I don't.
yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I yeah. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a good evening. And to our friends at home, thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us, Maily.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.